Hey Lisa, I'm partying. What are you up to? Hey Jim, is it raining out there, Jim? Or dry? Out here partying's what I'm doing. Oh, foggy, okay. Oh, that's cool, Lisa. Hey Vino, how you doing? How's your day going? Oh, okay. Hey Philip. Good. Did you get that GoPro yet? Gotta get moving on that, man. A party favor? I didn't order them yet, Lisa. Hey Lana, I'm up here in Traverse City. You know, they found that couple dead and their baby froze to death. I got an idea though that I don't know if that's a complete, you know, blood panel on that. They probably quit looking after they knew exposure was the ultimate cause of death. But anyway, this is a huge area of people that live out in the woods. There's a men's side over there and a woman's side over here. And I thought it'd be a good time to interview some people on how they handle these 5 and 10 degree nights living in tents. So here I am, partying. Oh, okay, Jimmy. Gaylord's a good town. Yeah, I'm in Traverse City, Michigan. Yep. With Daisy. Daisy got a bath yesterday. She's sleeping. And actually, I'm going to go to the area where they found those people dead. Not only for the reason of there's a lot of roads like that. They're seasonal roads. And people think, well, I'll take my chances. Well, in that case, that ended in the deaths of 3 people. Now, what complicated it is allegedly this guy's pickup got caught on a rock, which could have happened. But even near where I live, there are a lot of areas where you don't have to be that far from town to lose cell phone signals. And if you're on a seasonal road, it says right there as you pull back there, it's not maintained. And basically, you go back there at your own risk. And we found out, unfortunately, this time that that can end in losing your life. My guess is they got lost. They got disoriented. They maybe spent some time trying to walk away from the truck, ended up going back to it, and they found them without their shoes and socks on, which is typical as you freeze to death. Your brain, for whatever reason, signals that you're getting hot. It's weird. And it usually affects the extremities first to try to protect your significant organs like your heart and lungs and kidneys. And people take off their shoes and socks. It's not uncommon. They find people that are frozen to death, totally nude, which sounds nuts, but happens all the time. Yeah, it's horrible to know. The thing that bothers me is, not that the loss of anybody's life wouldn't be significant enough, but a little baby, 8-month-old baby, God, what a way to go. That poor little thing, they must have been just scared out of their mind. I mean, there had to come a time when they thought we're really screwed and just hoped that someone would show up. It didn't happen. Little baby froze to death till your organs quit working. Man, what a way to go. I mean, I'm sure you guys have instances like that where you live up in the mountains, Philip. People getting lost, and it doesn't take long. You get dehydrated, and particularly if you get wet somewhere along the way. If you get wet and you lose your source of food and heat, you're not going to be around long in temperatures like that. They were missing for 2 weeks. Yeah, it is horrible. It sure is. Yeah. No, it's really not cold. You know, if the wind's not blowing, that's why I'm sure these homeless have decided to pick this area. Because you get a lot. It's so different when you're able to break the wind. You know, we've had an unseasonably low snowfall, and birds, as an example, grouse. Any birds that winter in Michigan, they depend on snow. A lot of them for insulation. Snow is a hell of an insulator. It can be the difference between life and death if you get stuck outside. And when these ground birds don't have anything to burrow in to keep warm, their numbers dwindle. This is not a good year for birds that depend on snow for insulation. You know, and I'm sure the graveyard's filled with people that they just, you know, you think that, well, any minute somebody will be finding us. We're not that far. You don't need to be, 100 miles out in the middle of nowhere to not be found. Yeah, super unfortunate. 3 lives gone because of that. Now, you could say, well, that's bad judgment going out there to begin with. Well, maybe it is, but there's 10,000 people that did the same thing that are still alive that would never do it again. So part of life is luck. I've dodged a bullet a couple times, and I realized it was nothing but shit luck that kept me alive, that I should have never got myself in that situation. These people didn't go their way. If there'd have been a couple guys up on vacation and just with good snowmobile suits on and nice snowmobiles and just going to places where most people didn't go, just to, explore, they could have just as easily come upon those people and realized what was happening. They'd be alive today, but it didn't go their way. Yeah, I mean, you'd think, and it's amazing the people that uh, die of carbon monoxide. Lots of them. They're cold. My dad was always hammering that in my head when I was a kid, and we fooled around with gasoline a lot, starting fires and screwing around, and I was pretty aware of blowing yourself up with an empty gas can or asphyxiating yourself trying to stay warm in a cabin. So since a kid, I was educated about the perils of indoor heat in a place that's not vented. A lot of people aren't. There's people that have, stayed in, let's say, bandos. They got a space heater. Somebody came over to visit. The person that was living there all the time was asleep. They woke up. They thought, I don't want that cold draft coming in underneath that window, so they shut the window. Ends up killing them both. Yeah, people with mental illness now, if they're not working or don't have family to stay with, they're either in jail or they're homeless. I got my GoPro with me in case I see something underwater I want to check out. You guys need to get a GoPro. Philip, here's a GoPro with a waterproof case. Here's my waterproof case. Keep it in my pocket. GoPro 9. Then I got my regular video camera and my Nikon equipment, all my lenses today. Sometimes I get lazy and don't bring my big bag of lenses. But today I brought them because I don't want to miss out on any shot. Here's my new Kodak $90 camera right here. It's not the greatest, but I get bored easy. Right here, 90 bucks. Waterproof. I'll tell you, I don't know if I'm going to try it underwater though, because that lens fogged up the other night when I was filming that train. And that's not a good sign. So I got an idea this baby may be staying above water. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it will dehydrate you. What it does is it makes your internal organs cool off quicker. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. It lowers your body temperature eating snow. Yep. Which is why Daisy eats it a lot. It quenches her thirst, but you know, it's a dog. Dog's temperature is 102. You probably know that already. It's warmer than a person's. And you know, if you're getting, you know, if you got the house at 70, it's hot to Daisy with long hair. So she's always looking for an extra way to cool off. It's funny when she was younger, and even up until 2 years ago, I used to shave all her hair off in the winter because she'd be hot inside. You know, I'd have the heat up. I'm not one of these guys that wants to roam around my own home in a sweater. Forget that. It's 70 degrees all the time, 64 when I go to bed. And I just made it more comfortable for Daisy. But as she's gotten older, she doesn't want to stay out like she used to. And she doesn't pan anymore driving around in the van like she used to. Yeah, I'm not a believer in the it's your time either. A lot of deaths are preventable, you're right. Shock therapy is very effective. That's kept a lot of people from killing themselves. Lobotomy, that's a little different. Nobody's doing those anymore anyway. I got two friends of mine that are still amongst the living because of shock therapy. They tried everything, and that finally worked. The odd thing is they don't really know why it works. So, you know, I'm in a prime area to catch somebody coming in and out of here, and I haven't seen one person. And you'd think if you were going to bust a move right now to go get a quart of beer or a bag of chips, now's the time to do it. Sunshine and no wind. It's not going to get any warmer. Tonight's going to be cold. Yesterday was cold. Or how about this? How about this, Robert? God called them. God called them to heaven. What do you think of that one? No, I'm definitely a probability fanatic. I go with the odds. I think flying a small airplane and skydiving is safe compared to riding a motorcycle, which is why I did the first two and didn't do the third for long. I realized I'm not taking that kind of risk. It's one thing getting killed and not have to deal with it. It's another thing getting your legs chopped off or being a quadriplegic because someone turned in front of you. Not taking that risk. Yeah, God called them home. One thing I'm a little interested in is why there is one of these eco dumpsters where I'm sitting out in the middle of a field. You can see a couple people have driven in here and put something in it, but it just strikes me as an odd place to have a trash container. Hey, Blue. Yeah, but how could God want to? How could an 8-month-old baby? How could it be their time and God would want them? And I get the salvation part, okay, and I understand that just because you're a Christian, that your life doesn't work out perfect and that you can't get electrocuted like a guy that doesn't believe. The salvation, okay. Besides, babies it's like the Down syndrome. It's the age of accountability. Certain human beings get free passes to heaven if it exists, and that baby's one of them. But what we know for sure is an innocent baby died a slow, miserable death before it died. And that is an odd way to call anybody anywhere, which I can still accept as salvation's true. But the adults, a little different. But an innocent baby doesn't make a bit of sense. No way. Yeah, but that baby died a slow, miserable death. And now you can argue the original sin, but I don't buy that either. That baby didn't deserve, under any circumstances, to freeze to death. It suffered. Wasn't around long enough to screw a bunch of people over and do bad things. Just an innocent baby put in peril by its poor judgment of its parents that froze to death. Now, I don't know the details of this, but, evidently they were from around that area. She was a waitress. They lived in Bay City now. But the 11-year-old girl got dropped off at a town close to there, Sterling, the night before they came up missing. Which is, I'd just being nosy, I guess. Why? Was it a sleepover with another girl? Was it to get rid of her so they could go out and party? This sounds terrible. Now, they did mention in another article I read, evidently these parents had drug problems. I mean, there's a lot of people with drug problems that live till their 80s, so scratch that. Probably not a good idea. I don't know why they had to bring that up in an article when they're dead already. So, there's a lot of more questions than answers. I know right around where they found them. You always wish you'd have went back there and looked. Yeah, I mean, in an odd way. Let's say these parents were heavy drug users, and I don't even want to say they used bad judgment. Like I said, there's been 10,000 people back there before that got out of there fine. Things didn't go their way, but there's an argument for this that this child could lead a better life because the parents are gone. This kid could get picked up or go someplace where they're not into drugs and they're responsible, and this kid, finds a value in education and gets to experience a life now she wouldn't had her parents stayed alive. I mean, it's food for thought. It may not be true, but it may be true. Yeah, they died for exposure, but Kevin, what I think happened, autopsies are expensive. And anywhere you go now, you'll find that counties are not wanting to foot the bill. They'll pitch the families. If you want to know the cause of death and you want to pay for it, we'll be glad to request an autopsy. But my guess is once they establish that the ultimate cause of death was through exposure, however they do that with frozen tissue or checking your heart or your lungs. I don't know how they determine that exposure's what got you. I bet you they quit looking. So even if because blood panels are expensive to search for other things, and once you know they ultimately died from cold, if they were on drugs or they took drugs and it put them in a kind of state for lack of judgment, who cares? Doesn't matter, and nobody wants to pay for it. Dead is dead. So I think they took the high road, and it's like, hey, look, ultimately they died from the cold, and that's what we're going to go with. We're not looking any further. Yeah, that video I took the other day? See, is this a cop up here in a truck? Or I don't know if that's a cop or you can't tell anymore. In the old days, you couldn't have a blue or a flashing light on a utility truck. This looks like some kind of tow truck or something. Yeah, I mean, I found that out. That's been going on for about 10 years. I know a girl that I dated a little bit about 15 years ago. It's a long story, but anyway, she eventually ended up killing herself down in Nashville. And I kept in touch with her brother. She took a handful of sleeping pills and washed it down with a fifth of scotch. And that county down there, and this was 15 years ago, was not going to pay for an autopsy. And the brother called me and said, hey, what do you think? And I said, what's the use, man? I mean, you found an empty bottle of pills, empty bottle of Jack Daniels, or Johnny Walker. Just let it go, man. Pay for what? Besides, she had a kid that she left that the father got custody of. And now you can always say, well, my mom died, they didn't do an autopsy. We're not sure what happened. It's peace of mind. I'm fine with it. I don't know that any good would have come out that you paid about $1,600 for a piece of paper that said it was a suicide from sleeping pills and alcohol. I mean, just let it go. Like I said with these other people, dead is dead. Now, if there's a criminal element and you're looking to prosecute someone, that's different. Yeah, she was suffering from depression, man. This was the sweetest, cutest girl you've ever met in your life. I went to Eastern Michigan University. I had transferred up there from a junior college, and she was a waitress and got married at 19. Really cute, nice girl. Knew her sisters. And we were actually pretty good friends. And all these years go by, and about 15 years ago, I was living in Chicago, and she stopped by a restaurant and told a buddy of mine that she was divorced, and did he ever talk to me? And he said, yeah. So long story short, I got her number, we talked, and we got together, and it was all right. I wasn't really interested. And got together a couple times. That was about it. She'd go off the rails once in a while and was going to kill herself, and I'd get in touch with the family, and she turned into paranoid schizophrenic. I get a call one day, and she says, this will give you an example of how this works. Now, I'm doing whatever I can to help her. And luckily, I kept in touch with her brother and one sister occasionally. So long story short, I'd call them. It's like, hey, you better, get a hold of Julie. She had some good jobs. She was working for the University of Michigan. They finally canned her. And she didn't graduate from college till she was like in her 30s and ended up getting good IT jobs. And she got a good IT job with Dollar Store in Nashville. And, she'd call me and I'd say, hey, you need to get on this. And it worked for quite a while. But anyway, one day she called me and this is out of the blue. And this is after a handful of incidences of, turning the family on to, hey, you better check on her, right? She said, I think you broke into my house last night. It's like, oh, you do? She said, yeah, what would make you think that? She said, because you're the only person that knows that door back there where the key is. And she said, I called the sheriff's department on you. I said, well, Julie, first of all, I wasn't anywhere near your house. And what's missing? She said, nothing's missing, which is why I don't know why you'd come into my house when I didn't give you permission. I said, well, I wasn't in your house. I said, I have a GPS enabled cell phone all the time. You're welcome to have the sheriff's check. She said, well, I'm just really disappointed you would do something like that. I trusted you. I said, I didn't do it. So I didn't even want to call the brother or the sisters. By this time I thought, well, I'm not going to be doing anything with her anymore. She's thinking this kind of stuff. I get a call from a sheriff's deputy up there in that county. And he said, hey, Tom, how you doing? It's like, hey, they had already run my stuff and they knew I had a PI license and this stuff. And he said, this Julie has filed a report that you entered her house. And I said, well, I didn't. I haven't even been anywhere near there in like forever. Here's my you called me on my cell phone number. You can check. I'll sign off a waiver, whatever you want. The GPS is on all the time. I can tell you where I was during these days she thought I was up there. That didn't happen. I said, if I give you the number of her brother and you can talk to him. He said, sure, give me that. So I gave him the number. These cops are following up on this stuff. The brother talks to her. He calls back. He said, yeah, I didn't really think there was anything to it, but, we're required to, follow up on investigations, that kind of thing. That was it. It was all dropped. Evidently, they looked at my Verizon cell phone records, realized I wasn't there, that kind of thing. And that was the end of it. And then she got that good job and moved down to Nashville and lasted about a year. She had contacted me a couple times, wanted to get together. She called me one night in up around Brighton, Michigan. And she had run a couple of old people off the road in their cars. They were in their 70s. And she cut them off, ran them off, and then got out and chewed their ass. And she accused them of following her. So there was another police report on file that I didn't know about. And these were just two old people. It's like, what the hell are you doing? But it just, man, in the years that I knew her from when I first moved up there in 77, and you fast forward 20 years or 25 or whatever it was, man, it went from sweet, cute, nice girl to Sybil. And she couldn't help it. And I talked to her sisters a couple times, and they tried everything. She was in and out of psychiatric hospitals, medication and therapy, and nothing worked. It just got worse. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of surprised too. I knew the minute she said to me, why would you come into my house? I thought, well, I said right then, no, I'm never going back there again. And I'd only been there once, I think. I'd meet her at a restaurant near there. And to be honest with you, early on, it's I thought, well, it's good to see you. How you doing? I'm sorry you're going through this depression, but, interesting. I don't know why this phone does this. This damn phone just goes off sometimes. I think YouTube might be limited lives, the time of lives. Hey, Air Cold. Yeah, what are you going to do? Once you understand that, there's a serious problem with somebody, you're not mad at them or anything. Oh, it sounds good? Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like the phone, but the damn thing just goes off sometimes. Yeah, it is terrible, Kevin, yeah. Hey, Telly. Oh, my God, Telly. Wow. Yeah, I think that's exactly it, Blue Malibu. I think you're exactly right. You know, there once she lost custody of her kid, and for good reason. I mean, she was doing just crazy stuff to the guy she had this baby with. I mean, like heavy duty crazy stalking. I mean, when a male in Michigan gets full custody of a kid, that speaks volumes. And I'm sure they had no short of stuff to think that that was the right decision. It finally got to the point, and I didn't witness any of this behavior. It finally got to the point where the kid didn't want to have anything to do with her. He didn't want to go over there, even for, a non custodial visit. It was just too weird for him. I often wonder how that kid turned out. I haven't talked to the brother in years. I should give him a call. Yeah, I was a long way from having kids with her. I would have had kids with her when she was 19, no problem. Many as she wanted. But after I met her down the road like that, I wasn't that interested. I know that sounds terrible. Yeah, poison. Man, if somebody poisoned my dog, I think that could cause me at this age to really do something really evil. Yeah, but I mean, you couldn't you there wasn't a cuter, nicer, personable girl in the world than her when she was like 19. She looked like the all-American girl, like somebody had seen on a bread wrapper or something. Like a young Donna Reed. Hey, if she could have helped it, she would have. Hell no, Blue Malibu. You got that right, man. Hell no. Who would want that kind of relationship? No way. Be sleeping with one eye open. I mean, I got vibes early on. I stayed in a hotel up there the first time I got together with her after we went out and had dinner. And she said, "Well, you don't need to stay in a hotel last night. You can sleep on the couch here." And I thought, no way. That's not happening. I need to get a suit of armor and have a damn motion detector next to me. I don't blame you, Telly. Yeah, drama free. Amen, Lisa. Isn't that the truth? Drama free. You better believe it. Shit, yeah. No, I've not heard from Becky. She's down there though. Somebody sent me some photos of her. She's taken some new risque photos, and I've been told she's working Greektown and staying at the casino hotel. Yeah. Becky's a charmer. She's a notch up than the average working girl out there. She can, do a lot of magic tricks and get things to go her way through her wit and intelligence. Yeah, Daisy will bite you if you enter the van. Amy, did you check out that? Hey, Boydmore. Amy, did you check out that genetic testing? Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, we're living a drama-free life, pretty much. Yeah, did you do it? Did you check it out? Well, I think I'm going to drive around a little bit, you guys. I got too short of a cord on this phone. I ordered a couple other ones online. Luckily, they make an adapter from the two different kinds of cell phone charging cords. Because I just bought a bunch of them the other day, or about a month ago, never knowing when my phone was going to die out. But now I don't need to throw them away. I can put the adapter on it. Yeah, Amy, that's not that expensive anymore. The worst scenario, I think it's only $200 now. If you get a chance to pitch it to them, and I don't know if a claims person will be willing to listen to this, but it saves them money in the long run. It's less doctors, less medications, less titration. Gets right down to the bottom line ASAP. For $200 in this day and age, the cost of medical care, I don't know why. They should be bringing it up to you. Who said Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax? Who said that? Oh, good, air cold. Yeah, I like this phone. It's a Samsung A51. No, yeah, sleeping's a bitch, man. That's what drove me off the deep end. Like I told you, though, you can get some things to help you sleep. Remeron and Trazodone are two. Both are super cheap. There's a generic for them, both of them. You sleep like a damn baby. For all you know, if you get your sleep under control, the depression will go away. There's a close link with insomnia and depression. Well, I'm going to sign off for you guys. I'll get back on later. Hope you guys have a good day today. Daisy's having a good day. Daisy, you want to go out and do a pee-pee, honey? You want to go out and pee-pee? Yeah. All right, have a good day, you guys.